Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO, and today this is I think the first gameplay of the Pershing I'm ever going to feature on the channel, and I just going to start off by saying there's some tanks I stopped grinding down the line of because I don't like the tank. I thought the Pershing was one of those tanks for a long time. It's been sitting in my garage for over a year now, and it's just been kind of just sitting there. I'd play it once, maybe I'd play it maybe once every month or so. So yeah, it's been sitting there for a long time, just doing nothing. And I finally decided, I looked at it and just went, you know what, I'm gonna start playing the Pershing again. And for the longest time, I assumed this was one of the tanks that I just didn't like because because I just stopped grinding it all of a sudden. And for the most part, American tanks, that's the way it works for me. Like I did that with the M103. I hate the M103. I really did hate the M103. But yeah, this turns out it's not one of those tanks. I was pleasantly surprised by how constantly or how consistently I performed in this vehicle. Just to say that. Okay, so first off, starting off by taking a really unusual position for a tier 8 medium in a tier 10 game. Um, and you're going to see somebody take note of this in the chat soon. Yeah, I'm a Pershing. Yeah, yeah. The VKB just like Pershing. What the fuck are you doing? I wasn't paying attention. I only been awake for like an hour. At the time of playing this year, I was just kind of going, fuck it, let's try it and see what happens. And it turns out it actually goes pretty well. So yeah, bottom tier medium in a tier 10 game, and I'm sitting in the middle of the town. And luckily enough, the E75 pushed forward far enough that I could sit here and just kind of fire away at whatever the hell is sitting around. IS7 shot me, punched on third because Pershing. That's one of the things of the Pershing, and was one thing that's great about it. And I think the last time I really played this thing seriously, I think was back when I had like 180 standard pen. So that just gives you an idea of how long it's been since I played this thing seriously. So yeah, taking shots long range at an IS-7. Luckily, it's the side of an IS-7, and that guy just happened to back up just in time for me to shoot him in the back of the turret, which was handy for me. Trying to lead the shot in the T28, couldn't. Fire shot at the IS-7, only do a critical hit, which is annoying, but well, meh, whatever. Uh, Suddenly a WZ just appears in front of me. I'm just like, what the hell? And yeah, then I realized, yeah, I can probably move forward. And there's a T-54E1 right there. Fully aware he could fuck me up, but for some bizarre reason, I decided to go balls deep and just go straight towards him. I don't know what I was thinking when I was playing this game. I was just like, fuck it, balls deep. Let's see what happens. And yeah, I actually forgotten about this part. I liked the way they did with this RU-251. I was trying to like, and yeah, just kind of casually ram him to death. On 1357 damage right now in a tier 10 game, not doing too badly at all. IS-7 right there, and his magic space armor. So yeah, I wouldn't really expect that to pan ever. And I'm not really sure why an IS-7 and a Type 5 heavy went to the east side of this map. What were they smoking to go to the east side of the map in those tanks? I mean, seriously? And yeah, it's Carnarvon. This is one of the few tanks that Carnarvon's actually a threat to because if you're not positioned properly in the Pershing, your armor, it can bounce some shots, but it's mainly the turret that bounces the shots in this tank. And yeah, I've just noticed there's a wee tiny gap here that I can shoot through, and yeah, I would like to shoot through that gap if I could, but then Carnarvon falls back, and I'm just kind of hoping he pokes out again because Carnarvon's just easy damage because Carnarvon's basically like a Tog 2 a tier 8. It's just a big giant piece of shit. Well, Tog 2 is not a total piece of shit. Tog 2 is actually kind of funny. Carnarvon's just shit. um, yeah, I'm expecting Carnarvon to pop out, and he does. I know somewhere on the lower plate of that tank is. I actually got exactly average roll, huh? I know somewhere on the lower plate of that tank is its ammo rack, and I have like a 7.07 second reload or something in my Pershing, so I'm actually pretty rapid firing, and having a 90mm that fires that quickly is actually pretty solid at tier 8. And kill off the Carnarvon. I'm now going to move around and see what the Type 5, the IS-7. Yeah, the IS-7, I have no idea what the hell he was thinking. And luckily enough, there's an Object 263 for me to shoot now. His lower plate is so bad, I can pin it. Yeah, that gives you an idea of how bad the lower plate on the Object 263 is, and luckily he shows enough side. It only has 80mm side armor, so I can pin that at that kind of angle. I'm actually not sure what the lower side armor is. I can't remember off that mid. But yeah, that was kind of lucky. I think that clipped the upper front plate. So yeah, wouldn't expect that to pen. Type 5, I'm not even going to try and shoot that there right now because I think it's just a monster. High roll, and then Object 263 dies, and yeah, Type 5's like the last guy there. I tried to track him, I think, and yeah, nothing's going to happen with me fighting that. So at some point, I'm just going to say screw it and give up. Yeah, because I noticed on the map at this point there's a T-44 over there somewhere, so I'm just like, I'll go fight the T-44. Because T-44 actually have a chance again, and I take a punt at that guy just to see what the hell happens. And unfortunately it doesn't hit, because, well, if you don't know about this about the American mediums, they're all very, very good firing on the move, except maybe the T-20. T-20 is probably the only exception I can think of. This thing here is very good firing on the move for the most part, and I'm thinking I can maybe get a shot in this guy, but I wait too long. And then T-44 is looking at me. I got a shot into the front half of his tank, doing another 250 damage. And yeah, T-44 was firing APCR. Interesting. Well, I can't blame him. I don't think I fired a single APCR round in this game, but yeah, yeah, I'm pretty proud with the way I played in this game. Even though it was a kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it was very, very lucky that I got away with this because, well, I went here, a tier 8 medium, in a tier 10 game versus an IS-7 and a Type 5. I could have easily gotten fucking annihilated by that. So the fact I survived this and got 3,200 damage, and probably more actually, because I did take a couple of blind shots in this game. The fact that I survived that is kind of amazing. And yeah, this tank's actually a really, really solid tank. I'd forgotten how it was to play the Pershing, because I just it's just been sitting there in my garage, as I said at the start, doing absolutely nothing. It's just been sitting there. And the reason why I started grinding this thing again was because I wanted to sell it and get some credits up so I could probably buy the Panther 2 and probably buy the VK 100 because I've got 4 million credits right now because I sold a tank. I can't remember which one it was. I sold the KV2 and I sold a couple of other tanks as well, but I can't remember what they were. Nope, can't remember at all. I think I may have sold the Tortoise, I can't remember. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not really interested in going to the 183 line anymore. Kind of lost interest in it after a while after playing the Jagdpanzer enough. But yeah, this tank is actually really, really solid. It's from a really old line, which is probably why it's such a... Well, honestly, I would say this is one of the rare tier 8s to see these days, because normally people are just in T-44s and STA-1s and... What's the other one? Well, right now Panther 2s, but Panther 2 is probably going to die out again pretty soon. Panther 2 is probably actually rarer than this thing because the Panther 2, for some bizarre reason, is... Well, not for some bizarre reason, it's totally logical reason. Panther 2 was the first tier 8 medium I ever drove. And I'm glad it was the first tier 8 medium I ever drove because from what I played of all the tier 8 mediums, I'd say the Panther 2 pre 9.17.1, I should point this out by the way, pre 9.17.1, Panther 2 was probably the worst tier 8 medium in the game. I'm fairly confident in saying that. But post 9.17.1, I don't know, so I'm kind of considering getting one back and testing it out again, but yeah. If it's half as good as the Pershing, it'll be a good tank, because the Pershing, I have had a bunch of great games in this thing, and to think, I had never aced this thing before, but I aced it twice in the one day I've played it so far. Yeah, I've been having a good time in this thing, just like the VK 3000 2D. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing the grind in this thing, and then I'll decide at that point whether or not I want to keep it or want to sell it. I have a spare medium tank crew because I sold T69, so I might stick it in this or I might stick it in the M46. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but yeah. So I think that's about all I really have to say about the in-game stuff. So I think time to go on to the stats. Okay, so these are the results for this game. First class mastery, a steel wall. A steel wall in a tier 8 medium in a tier 10 game. Seems legit. And a Confederate, yeah, the Confederate's always nice to get, but a steel wall in a tier 8 medium in a tier 10 game. Yeah, that you can't say that happens very often, and yeah, this just shows you how well people are doing in the Pershing. That was 1300 base XP. I think in most other tier 8 mediums that would have been an ace, but in the Pershing, nope, because people are doing really well in this tank, and that kind of shows just with that result on its own. And yeah, I can confirm I did not fire any premium rounds. I fired 28 shots in that game. Holy crap, I fired a lot of shots. Well, I guess a lot of those were blind, so yeah. I think I got one shot that I didn't see that hit. So yeah, 1200 resistance damage and 1800 blocked because I took 11 shots. Holy crap! I only just managed to get a steel wall. If I hadn't taken that last shot from T44, I wouldn't have gotten it. But yeah, it's pretty awesome to say you got a steel wall in a tier 8 medium in a tier 10 game. I actually didn't lose money on that game, which I'm happy enough about. And if you wonder why the XP score is so insane on this one, it's because I believe it was it the first win of the day? Yeah, it was. It was the first win of the day, and I had ×2 XP thing running for personal reserve. So yeah, I got a lot of XP for that game. So that might be why it seems a bit insane in terms of the amount of XP I got. So yeah. Overall summary of the Pershing, I like it. Solid turret. Good. The gun is actually surprisingly good. I actually, for some reason, I have the memory of this gun being kind of shit, but it's actually pretty damn solid. Its accuracy is not as bad as you're led to believe, and on the move, the gun actually seems relatively good. Like, considering how bad, like, I'm pretty sure the accuracy for it is like 0.38, 0.4, something like that there, which isn't bad, but not great. But yeah, overall, I like the Pershing. It's a pretty solid tank. The frontal armor is actually not too bad on it, and it'll actually surprise you. The frontal armor will actually surprise you pretty often, and it'll bounce some shots you never expected to bounce. But yeah, it's all about the turret in this tank. The turret is fucking awesome, and it's basically like having a sped up T32, which sacrifices alpha damage for more speed and some turret armor for more speed. But yeah, it has the rate of fire advantage. It has not too far off the same pen. It has the rate of fire advantage. The rate of fire advantage is crucial to this kind of tank. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this thing in this game. I might actually do a review of this tank because I'm having a lot of fun in it lately. So yeah, although it probably won't actually get that much attention because Pershing's an old tank. People don't really care about the Pershing. But yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.